we found back there is all the reason why I do these roadside find videos, for stuff just like that. And that right there is exactly why I do these roadside finds. One of the best incredible finds yet. It's time once again to travel through the small towns and back roads of Virginia and West Virginia to check out some of the unique, interesting, and even strange things that there is to see. It was nearly 4 months ago when I did my first road trip to West Virginia. And when I went down there, I made 2 videos, roadside find videos to be specific, one on the way down, one on the way back. And you guys, the viewers, absolutely love those videos and said that you want to see more roadside finds, road trip videos. So that's why I'm bringing you along once again. I don't know what we're going to find today, but I do have about 80 miles until my destination. But you have to remember that the journey is just as important as the destination. Also, if you would like to follow along with me today, I'm going to do my best to share the locations, but we are starting off at this church right here in Swoope, Virginia. So if you'd like to see what I might find, well, I invite you to buckle up and come along with me for my next Roadside Finds road trip. It would appear this church is no longer in service, but it doesn't quite look abandoned. It does look like it is taken care of. And looks like maybe at one time possibly it served as a schoolhouse or maybe a Sunday school. It does have that kind of look to it. I just wanted to give you a brief look at it. It stood out amongst the farmland, the countryside, and some of the homes here in Swoope. The old wooden doors on it. Be the bell tower up there. It does have some stained glass windows right there. I don't see a build date at first glance. It does have a back portion there, and it looks like it does have a metal roof. So it's going to hold up quite well, and does have modern central air and a newer entranceway there. So it looks like it's probably used to some capacity. I don't think it's a church anymore, as I don't see anything on the sign out front or even a name on it. But I think it's a nice looking structure. And a nice, gorgeous blue sky for the backdrop. But we're gonna get back in the car, continue down the road to find our next roadside find. Just a few miles down from the church on Route 254 here in Swoope, came upon my first discovery. You may not be able to see it, but it is indeed back there. It is an old, abandoned farmhouse. And unfortunately, a lot of the nature is not fallen down off the trees yet, so it's making it really difficult to see. But I do see an open door, do see some open windows, and a really overgrown piece of property. Now there is an active farm both to the right of it and the left of it, so I don't know if we could even get in there. I don't see any current posted signs, not sure who would own the property, but I at least want to give you a shot of it here because it did stand out amongst the rest of the homes here. There she is. You can make out the side of it. Looks like the back porch area is standing on stilts. I do see a metal roof and a chimney right there. I'm going to see if I can find a way in there, if there is easy access without having to climb any fences like this barbed wire right here in front of us. Then we'll see if we could take a gander on the inside. Well, it looks like luck's not on my side. On the corner of the property, there is indeed a posted sign. The gate's also locked. There's barbed wire on the edge of it. I'm pretty certain I could get in there without any trouble. But since it's along a busy roadway here, I really don't want to press my luck. So we're just going to observe it from the roadway and move on to our next location. But figured it was worth stopping and sharing. Although I'd love to get inside, figure it's best to play it safe when I'm not in my home state. We just came from that direction. That was 254. We're still in Swoope, Virginia. This is known as the Buffalo Gap area. I pull over here at Junction Convenience Store and gas station. In case you're curious, cheapest is $3.49, most expensive is $4.19. Now 254 now turns into 42 South. And there's a sign up there for Buffalo Gap, and it says Augusta Springs, Craigsville, and Clifton Forge in that direction. So let's continue on. Just a little ways down from the gas station, still on 42 South. I looked off the side of the road and noticed something of interest, something I wanted to check out, and it may or may not be something leading to more. Let me get over here and I'll show you what I found. Now, I didn't spot this in the road, but I do spot it now, right there. That's a rail line. Looks like there is some active train tracks up there. But beneath that is what I spotted. These stone retaining walls. There is 3 different sections of them. 1, 2, and then 3 right there. Now, I don't know if they served any purpose other than retention, but they are far enough away from the train tracks that they shouldn't have anything to do with it. But I am wondering if something did take place here back in the day, since it's along the water's edge. It could have been a mill area or even maybe a little village of sorts, but regardless, it did catch my attention. It was large enough. I thought maybe it was a cave or an opening, but they are just hand-built stone stacked walls. Sitting in a construction zone on Route 42 South, I want to take this opportunity just to mention, though, that we are here in the middle of October, and the leaves haven't changed as much as I was hoping. We are just outside of peak season for the fall foliage. There's still a lot of green, but certain areas there are some yellows and some oranges and reds popping through. I was hoping to give you a bit of a more scenic view with the colors, but looks like we're about a week or so behind with the change. But regardless, still a gorgeous area. Can't complain about that. Pull over at Augusta Springs Wetlands area, part of the George Washington National Forest. It's right along Route 42. And there is a walking trail here that should take us to a scenic area. There's a couple cars pulled off here, and there's a sign here for binoculars, picnic table, and hiking trail. I'm not going to go too far. I don't want to venture too far off my schedule, but I figure we'll take a gander down here, check it out, see if there is anything worth seeing. And if there is, maybe you guys could stop here for yourself if you're passing through the area. But there is an information board here just showing about the area here, the wetlands areas. And it's the North River Ranger District. It's also a flash flood hazard. Well, let's head down there and check it out. Not only is there bathroom facilities here, but it looks like this area is handicap accessible. They do have ramps and boardwalks going throughout the property. A nice scenic area, plenty of seating. There's even trail brochures. It says Augusta Springs Wetlands Trail is your path to discovery. It sounds like it's for me. This 2/3 of a mile easy loop trail leads you through meadows, forests, and wetlands. You can look at beavers' handiwork, smell the aroma of pine needles, hear a songbird, and dip your hand in a cool mountain spring. So, not very far at all. And there are some things to see along the way. Looks like maybe some highlights or information points. There is a spring house back there, a hotel pond. I think I may have to come back in the future to do a more thorough video on this, but let's just check out the immediate vicinity here. I'm gonna grab a brochure too. I do like the boardwalk. It actually winds through the field here, and there is indeed wetlands. We're already presented with water right here off to our right and beneath us. And it's nice and clear. Oh, I can see some little tadpoles in there. Probably plenty of frogs, maybe some snakes. Snakes, why'd it have to be snakes? That's a nice sandy bottom too. Really nice, clear water. Not deep enough to do anything in, nor would I, 'cause it's probably a protected area, but still, I love clear, clean water like that. Do see a birdhouse out there. And this path takes us further back. I should say the boardwalk. Information board here for the eastern bluebird. Perched on the wire fence, an eastern bluebird scans for insects in the open field. Fluttering quickly to the ground, the bluebird grabs breakfast. So if you're into bird watching, just wildlife watching, photography, hiking, or just want a peaceful, quiet area to come, I highly recommend stopping here. See, the boardwalk does continue. I guess the boardwalk goes the entire way. I'm just going to go back to where we came from, go to the left a little bit, see what's up there. But I think without a doubt, though, I will be returning here, whether it's on my way home from this trip or on a future trip down this way, to do a more thorough video, because places like this, I feel they're like little hidden gems. I don't know how many people know about it, but I just discovered it, and now you know about it too. Came back out to the main part and hung a left, and we have some type of water feature here. Oh, this looks gorgeous. It's, I guess, a little dam or a water channel, which is actually bringing the water out to where we just came from. So we were back there, and that's why the water is so clean, because it's a fresh water supply coming through. And I'm guessing there's a natural spring, as we saw on that map, somewhere over here. And I do see a round circular item as well. And this area is home to the great blue heron. Listen, can you hear it croak? It's not a frog. The great blue heron will make the harsh sounding call if they sense danger. This is also stop number 11. So, as mentioned, there are certain highlights along this trail. That looks like an old fountain. We're going to check that out in just a second, but I want to get a closer look at this little water control area, as I'm going to call it, because it does resemble a spillway. See right here, they have the planks of wood controlling it, so it's almost like a spillway. But the water is going around it, actually spilling out right there behind it through the rocks, and then seeping through around the boards. That is pretty neat, but the water is pristine. It must be coming from underground somewhere. I'm thinking this is the natural spring area that just fills up automatically. And it is a round circular area, so it looks like it was man-made to contain the water. And they did build this stone structure as like a flume or a trough to send the water in that specific direction. But what a really neat area. But I'm curious about that. Let's check that out right now. I don't know what we just found. At first glance, it's like a small pool. I thought maybe a fountain, like that would have been a fountainhead there, or a centerpiece. Could be a really large planter. I'm thinking something for water though. It's not far at all from the little flume passage there. Actually, let me check my brochure. Maybe there's something in there that says what it is. So with this being placard number 11, when we come to our trail map, number 11 is Augusta Springs Resort Hotel. Today, all that remains of the resort are a few stone walls and the memories of the old-timers who visited the hotel to enjoy the springs. This is the spot of the original pond. Can you imagine the horse-drawn carriages riding through the tree-lined lane to the front door of the resort? How might this area have looked 100 years ago? So indeed, this was a pond, and it was man-made with the stone walls. That's why this makes more sense as to what we found. So it's not just created specifically for the water. There was an old resort here back in the day, and I'm guessing that was some type of water feature or fountain or wading pool or something water related. I'm about 90% certain on that, but that's one of the few remnants of the old resort here at Augusta Springs. Now, if you haven't noticed yet, my shirt right here that I'm wearing is actually a US33 West Virginia t-shirt. I actually picked that up at Seneca Rocks gift shop. That was one of the stops along my roadside finds video on my way back from West Virginia. If you haven't seen that video, it will be linked down below. But this stop here, I'm calling this a nice little find. Now, although we've only been here for a few minutes, but from what we've seen back there and what else is in this brochure, this area definitely calls for a return future visit. Still in Augusta Springs, and came upon this old service station. Looks like maybe a Texaco. Would have been a gas station slash garage. The island's right here. Pumps are gone. Some holes in the windows. See the old lamps up there too. I'd imagine a place like this not only did small quick repairs, but probably had a full service attendant. When the car rolled in, it rang the bell, the attendant would come out, pump your gas, check your oil, air pressure, belts, filters. Back then they really showed you that they appreciated your business. But places like this are far and few between now. But sitting alongside Route 42 here in Augusta Springs, Virginia. Passing through the small town of Craigsville, Virginia. They don't have much, but they do have a Family Dollar. And it looks like maybe a gas station up here. We'll check fuel prices. I did see a sign too for a correctional center. Some old empty businesses off to the right. Fuel here is $3.19 at Marathon gas station. There's also an IGA, not too common nowadays, IGA grocery store, and a Citgo gas station, $3.19. So they have basically everything you need: fuel, food, a small car lot, probably a hardware store, and some train tracks off to the left down there. Thought for a second this house was abandoned. Not to say that's not, but it actually still has the power meter on the side of it, and there's some cars behind it. But it's got the old metal roof and 3 different chimneys. Front porch has definitely seen better days. I don't think anyone's living in it, but I think probably someone's using it for storage or looking after it. But it's got the gingerbread trim up there on the porch, and it's sitting up high on the hill there. But I was prepared to go and check it out, but it's definitely not abandoned. On to our next discovery on this West Virginia destination road trip. Not sure if you're going to pick it up on camera, but this rail line still has the old glass insulators running alongside of it. Most of them are intact. I see a bunch of clears, some of the blue-green ones, and some brown ones. I found this pretty neat information plaque along the road here, along Route 42. Augusta County is an area of 1,006 square miles. It says it was formed in 1738 from Orange and named for Augusta, Princess of Wales and mother of George III. Originally included a large part of the Middle West. President Woodrow Wilson was also born in Staunton, Virginia. And on the other side of the road is a nice little collection of some classic and vintage cars. See a few different eras back here. Everything from a yellow Nissan Frontier to a convertible Mustang 5.0, so it's got the 302 in it. A few pickup trucks and a couple two-door coupes right here in front of us. And then another Mustang over there, a few others over there, and something else in the front yard here. I don't want to get too close. I think it is someone's private residence, but these are right along the roadside. I love seeing these old cars that are kind of sitting here, almost forgotten about, but still have stories to tell. And like they say, they don't build them like they used to, because for how old those are, they're still holding up quite well. The next location we're about to check out is what made this video worth filming, because I found something I never intended on finding. And when I did initially film it, I did give away the exact location of it. But upon seeing what's on the inside and the condition of it, I figured it's probably best not to so easily identify the location. So Throughout the video, you may notice some jump cuts or some edits of me either removing the location that's being said or any visual clues that might give away the location. With that being said, let's get back to the video. Because my next finding appears to be an old abandoned church, plus another abandoned structure next to it, which may be a house. First glance, I don't see any posted signs, although there is neighboring properties. But it is severely overgrown. Once again, it does have the metal roof. There's actually a sign up there too. I'm gonna try to get closer to read that. But if you look at the chimney here, the top of it, it's curved, almost like a little bell shape. And we have this one here, which also has a metal roof, just your traditional chimney. That metal roof is probably prolonging the inevitable of it collapsing in on itself. But let's get a little bit closer, see if we could check it out. I certainly would call this a roadside find. Now it looks like it says first founded 1890. I honestly would like to try to get inside of it. It's just like a jungle here though. It's like the windows are boarded up. It probably had stained glass windows at the time. But I'm gonna see if I can get down there. Looks like the door is possibly open. If it is, we're gonna venture inside. Should have looked a little harder. There's actually a walkway coming down to it, some steps, a railing, and a view from the front of it here, and an open door. Let's take a gander on the inside here. It's not posted, and I'm just going to document it respectfully. There's actually some stuff in here. Oh, wow, this place, where do you see this? Some bench seating, probably pews. Some artwork right there, and this is probably for the holy water, I'd imagine. But are you ready for this unveiling? You're not going to believe this. This is an untouched, abandoned church. Look at this place. Holy cow. This is just naturally decayed. I don't see any vandalism, intentional vandalism, or graffiti. It's like frozen in time. All the pews are here. The red carpet leading up to the altar. Look at the heating unit here. This is probably for coal. Probably coal in there, ashes on the bottom. There's the coal bucket right there. The pipe going out to the chimney. There would have been one on this side, as we saw, which has been removed for the most part, but it's still sitting here. Actually, no, they burned wood, not coal. At least this one burned wood. Look at this place. It's like they just walked away from it, and it's just been sitting here naturally decaying for a few decades. There's even an organ, the music book. This is frozen in time. I can't believe I just found this. And we're able to just walk right in. I'm thinking, I'm not positive, I'm thinking a Catholic church. Looks like that may have been the offerings. Let's see. Baptist, New National Baptist Hymnal. I don't know much about Baptist as I am Catholic. It says the late Reverend R.H. Boyd right there. Do have a piano. Maybe choir seating. And the altar's right here. With the good book opened up. I am flabbergasted. All the lights are intact. There is some rotten parts in the ceiling here and there, but for the most part, it's fairly structurally sound. Some rot right there, obviously. It says preacher's room. Just a desk in here and a bench, more or less like a little office. Then there's a passageway here. Oh, look at that. That is a neat piece of furniture. I think that is a coat rack. Actually, maybe more. I think it's a coat rack, hat rack, umbrella holder, and shoe holder. What a neat piece. That door just goes out to the back. There's no power to this place either. There's some more rot back here as well. A lot of droppings on the ground too, probably animals, small animals or birds making their way inside since it is open. Both windows and doors open. Those are offering envelopes. Man, this is amazing. Just in a small town of Virginia. So all I could say is if you do come here, please show it the utmost respect. This is a pristine condition abandoned location. No vandalism, no graffiti. Everything appears to be natural, and that's the way it should be. But it's not posted, and I am just documenting it as I am passing through because, like most places, we don't know what the future is, and typically, once places do get shut down or close up, they don't stay that way forever. They eventually get demolished or collapse in on themselves or something else, but this is a true, incredible finding. We're gonna leave it exactly how we found it, and we're gonna briefly check out that abandoned house next to it here, but not the easiest place to get to. It is really overgrown, a lot of roots and vines and everything else of the sorts. All right, I'm not going any further because as I can see through the window, there's daylight coming through. The whole right side of the roof is completely gone. It's basically just skeletal remains of this house. May have been the priest's house, if you want to call it that, based on the proximity to the church. But even if I was able to get through it, there's nothing left seeing. It is just a rotten shell. But that is the true gem right there. And hopefully this place is looked after because there's a neighbor right next to us cutting grass, as you can hear the lawnmower, and a couple homes right across the street. So hopefully this will stay the way it is naturally, and then whatever they decide to do with it will be on their own doing. But what a find. And that right there is exactly why I do these roadside finds. One of the best incredible finds yet. Welcome to Millboro, Virginia. Pulled off this little Millboro Mercantile and Grocery Store. It's also a gas station. Gas here is $2.94 a gallon. A little bit cheaper. Looks like a nice little mom and pop shop. They do sell pizza and Hershey's ice cream and some other goodies. If I was hungry, I'd probably stop in there and check it out, but did want to share it with you. Cheapest gas we've seen so far on this trip. So some time has passed, the sun is going down, and I wanted to update you. So this road here is Route 39. I came down the mountain off a steep, windy, twisty road, and partway down, I noticed in the distance a black object on the road. Wasn't quite sure what it was as I was approaching though. Ended up being a black bear. By the time I hit record on the camera, it ran into the woods and out of sight. So I wasn't able to get it on camera. Now I also didn't film much of the way from what you last seen because I ended up getting back on a route or part of the road that I filmed in my first Roadside Finds video on the way to West Virginia. But I did stop because I just noticed something over my shoulder. Not only is there a Virginia sign back there, which means West Virginia is straight ahead, but there's also something right there. This placard states Virginia, named for Queen Elizabeth, the Virgin Queen of England, site of the first permanent English settlement, 1607, in America. One of the 13 original colonies, Virginia is the birthplace of 8 presidents of the United States. Something else I just spotted here too is a sign for Ryder Gap. In this mountain gap, through which came early pioneers General W. Loring camped in 1861 with 10,000 Confederates. In July, General Robert E. Lee succeeded him. North and south is the mountain road, which offers a remarkable skyline drive. Well, I'd like to welcome you to West Virginia. We have arrived much later than anticipated with all those roadside finds, and I didn't think I'd be losing daylight, but I am. Now I have one more thing I want to show you. It's in a somewhat familiar area, but something I haven't showed when I was here last time. You're looking at an old railroad crossbuck. No longer active, but its location is a bit more important because it's located here in downtown Marlinton, West Virginia. The place I'm calling home, or at least home base, for the next several days. Now this town may look and sound familiar to you. That's because this was my destination back in June. I did stay here for a couple nights as myself and Matt visited the Cass Scenic Railway for their Parade of Steam. Well, we decided we wanted to return once again, stay a bit longer, and do some different things. But one thing I want to show you really quick is something I noticed when I was leaving Marlinton on my last trip. And I said, you know what, I want to show it next time I return. So that crossbuck that we saw is here for a reason because of this old depot. This depot is now a gallery called the 4th Avenue Gallery. They repurposed it and even has the old signals up there, but beyond that, there's actually some rails and some rail cars. We got a old caboose and a boxcar sitting here on the rails. And this would have been most likely a freight depot, maybe freight and or passenger. And this is just showing what used to be. The rails are no longer in use or even in existence beyond here because down past there is a rail trail. But this caboose has definitely seen better days. I'm gonna give you a glimpse on the inside here. I can't go in, but you guys could peer in. I've been in several of them, so I do know mainly what they look like. Got the cupola up on top, also known as the crow's nest, for the lookout, so they can watch for the overheating journal boxes, which are opened up right here. If they start smoking, they know that they're out of oil, and they need to be re-oiled to keep the friction moving nice and smooth. Oh, there's also a flat car here as well. So I thought this was pretty neat. They still have it here. The old depot's still here. The old signal's still here. And a short section of rail still does exist. And I actually walked right by it. Why didn't you guys tell me? There is an old, whether it be a luggage cart or a cargo cart and a dolly. That's actually a really old one. Look at the wheels on that. And look at this chain. A hand size for comparison. It's got the steel, almost like wagon wheels, but they would use that for carting goods around on and off the train. But that caboose, although it doesn't look pristine, still definitely has some charming character. Give this thing a new paint job, be ready for the rails, right? Not too bad of a backdrop. Who doesn't love a caboose? So I do want to mention just a couple things briefly. I don't want to ramble, but I do want to share a couple thoughts. Number one is that when coming to Marlington, West Virginia, Google Maps gives you basically 3 routes you could take once you're in the state of Virginia. They all basically branch off of Route 81. When I came here back in June, I did take one route, and when I documented it, there was a bunch of abandoned farmhouses and some other great, awesome things. When I departed here back towards Virginia, we saw some more great things, mostly abandoned farmhouses. Today, coming down here, I took the 3rd route, so I covered all 3 paths to and from Marlington, West Virginia, and the state of Virginia. And today did not disappoint. The point I'm getting to is that no matter which route you take, the journey is always just as important, if not even more important than the destination. Although I'm glad to be here and have a lot of great things planned for my stay here, today's journey did not disappoint in the least. We got to see some really great stuff, including the Augusta Springs Wetlands, which I will be returning to without a doubt to do a dedicated video on, whether it's going to be the end of this trip or a future return visit. Secondly, that abandoned church that was untouched, that was a gem of a find. I can't believe that we just stumbled on that and were able to document it just in the condition it's been left in since they last used it. But with that being said, if you do enjoy these roadside find adventures and road trips, I do have another one planned for this coming winter, just a few short months away, and it's going to be more local to me in Pennsylvania. And I know for a fact there's some great things to see along the way, including something similar to this. I think an abandoned house, which may be accessible, an abandoned amusement park, and more. So be on the lookout for that this coming winter. Otherwise, while I'm here in Marlington with Matt, we do have quite a few things planned, some of which you'll see on videos coming out, some of which we're going to enjoy for ourselves. But regardless, I'm here for the next several days and ready to unwind, kick back, relax, and have a great time in the state of West Virginia. I do want to thank you personally so very much for not only watching this video, but coming along, riding along with me on this 50-mile trip, no, actually 80-mile trip from where we started to here, our destination. I had a great time, hopefully you did as well, and looking forward to your feedback and thoughts on today's video. Otherwise, thanks so very much, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.